Good evening, everyone. It's George from LGW3 Orchids and Exotics. And tonight I just wanted to give a quick little discussion and presentation on this new software. So if you're like me, and I'm sure quite a few orchid hobbyists and or plant collectors have similar ideas in mind and track their plants, and you get all crazy, wanting to know when you got the plant, keeping track of maybe watering schedules, whatever it is. I used to use Excel, and this is a quick example of an Excel spreadsheet that I've been using. But, there's so many other good applications out there. And I was at a recent meeting with my Orchid Society, and previous to this, I had been looking at many different options, trying to find a good online database, something web-based that I could sync with my phone, I could view through a web browser, just something that I could create my own little template and have everything that I needed in there in order to create tracking, for my plants, create custom columns, everything that I wanted. So, I looked around for a while and really didn't see any viable options. Most of these want you to pay money, and they'll offer you a free trial maybe for a week or two. But backtracking to what I was saying, I went to a recent Orchid Society meeting, and one of the women there had presented a piece of software she was using online called Airtable. And it really caught my attention. And she gave a quick example of what she set up, and I was like, wow, this is exactly what I've been looking for. I mean, you can add pictures. I mean, anybody who's proficient in Excel, it's great for data and tracking numbers and descriptions, text, anything you want. But when it comes to actually adding pictures, it's not so user-friendly. There's other things you have to incorporate in there, and it's just not as friendly. But this Airtable did exactly what I was looking for. I mean, easy to add pictures, all these custom columns. So again, I just wanted to run through real quick, give a quick example. If let's say we wanted to catalog this orchid and show how we did it in the new setup with Airtable, which is very, very convenient, by the way, to set all this up. So I will give you a quick tutorial and show you how I recently did it. All right, stay tuned. Okay, so let's take a look. First of all, this is what I used to use, and you can see it's pretty versatile for the most part. This is a spreadsheet that I created, and again, you can add any customizations to the spreadsheet that you want. A couple of these had some formulas, to calculate days since repotting based on the last date of repotting to the current date, and some other custom drop downs here you can see for conditions. Pretty basic stuff to create with Excel. Again, looks nice, not too complicated to create, but sort of limited. Again, adding pictures to Excel, just not really going to happen. There's no really nice, easy, pretty way to do it to keep it within the cell boundaries. So that being said, let's go ahead and I will show you recently what I set up. So we're going to go to the web here, open up my web browser. And as you can see, it's Airtable. And by the way, let me just preface this with, they are in no way a sponsor of mine. I mean, I'm only using the free account. This is, again, something new that I recently found through one of my fellow Orchid Society members. She gave a really nice presentation on how she's using it, what she set up. So I decided to give it a shot, because I knew probably about a year or so ago this is what I was looking for, but could not find an affordable and or free option, and this actually is a free option. So let me just go ahead and give you a quick show of what I set up, and I can actually show you how to set it up. So as you can see here, this is my new setup. Let me go ahead and scroll over a little bit. So voila, there you go. Reference picture. I mean, take a look at this. This is beautiful. So you get a really nice addition here with being able to add pictures. Again, you can add as many as you want. There are size limitations. I think with the free option here, you're limited to 2 gigs. Typically for web pics, something like this that looks this big, this nice, you're probably talking maybe 100K, maybe 200 kilobytes. So you have quite a bit of room if you have 2 gigs worth. So let's see. I was also able to set up some other nice things in here. Decence repotting. Again, you can add in some nice formulas. So take a look at this. You can actually write a quick formula here. Decence repotting. I take the repotting date to the date today. Take the differential in days. Pretty easy to do. And by the way, this offers a great option too. You can actually click here, formula field reference, which is awesome. I mean, it just takes you through all the different examples. You know, if you want to look up some numeric options. I mean, I'm a programmer by trade, so this stuff comes pretty easy. But overall, if you spend a little bit of time reading through this, you can get the hang of it. Shouldn't take too long. So, okay, so back to this. I scroll over a little bit, have all my information here. And what's really nice about this too is that you can actually customize these fields, and not only can you add, let's say, a single select drop down with different options, you can actually, in addition to making the options available here, you know, text wise or whatever you want, you can actually create different colors, which is phenomenal. And again, this comes in really handy. I mean, I try to use it in an intuitive way. You have low light, highlight red, you know, kind of like alert, warning, you know, medium light orange, okay, not so bad, yellow, low light, shaded, maybe gray. And again, there's no right or wrong way to do it, but it just makes it very intuitive. I did the same thing here with the watering conditions. You know, dry, almost like a sand color, moist, super dark green, semi-moist, a little lighter. So again, there's a lot of different ways you could do this. Worked out really well. Now let me just go ahead and give you a quick show of how I set this up. So I'm going to back out of this, and we're going to go back to the original home page here. So if you look here, this is the main screen of where you would create whatever you want to create. So I'm going to go ahead and create some additional stuff here. I apologize there for my cell phone going crazy. Shut that off. Alright, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to use a recent one that does not have as many options in here. So what's great about this is, again, as I mentioned earlier, you probably, if you're like me and you're a little bit neurotic about this, enjoying your hobbies, you may have already created some sort of spreadsheet, again, in Excel. And Excel is great, but with the basic headers and your rows of data, what you can do is, if you were to do a save as, okay, and we're just going to save the computer. Let's see. You know, it's not going to let me save it. But if we were to try to save this, you could save it as, right now I have this spreadsheet in read only because I disabled it from being edited any further. This was the last revision since I've done the Airtable. But if you look here, I could save this as a CSV. which is probably what you'd want to do the first time around if you already have a current spreadsheet. And then what you could do is you could come over here, add a base, and you can actually do import spreadsheet. And this allows you very easily to import the current spreadsheet. No need to rewrite the Bible and recreate everything over, which is fantastic. And this is also another option that I was looking for a while, because not all of them allow you to do this. But real quick, we're just going to go ahead and I'm going to create a new one here. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to duplicate database. We're going to leave this, by the way, this is grouped as workspace. Think of workspace as a project. So if you look here, it's right here. This is my LGW3 Orchids and Exotics workspace. You can have multiple of them with, I guess, the pro version. I'm not sure about the free version, but for all practical purposes, I'm keeping everything under one. I guess if you wanted to put other tables of things you were tracking, non-orchid and plant related, maybe you or I would create another workspace, but again, I'm just tracking plants. So I'm going to create duplicate database. So we duplicated the database, and you can see here it automatically adds a copy to it. And now we could go in here, and so as I gave the example before, the Dendrobium bracteoseum, let's say we wanted to go ahead and add it. I'm going to start over here. I'm just going to click add. It looks like it gives you a nice little form too, which the form, by the way, is more available. Well, it's more readily available and pops up and in the view automatically when you're using the web app, which is great. You sign into the web app and you can actually see all of your databases. So we'll go over here, we'll type it in. Okay, spelled it wrong. Okay, so looks like it's missed one letter there. All right, so we go ahead. We have our orchid there. We'll just put Dendrobium. Let's see, stem with leaves. Again, you can put any description you want. This is just a quick example. So thank God for spell check, huh? So now we're going to go ahead and we will add a picture. Now what I do is I would come over here and I would just really quickly go ahead and copy this. You can type it in here or you can paste it. Click on images and boom, there you go. So if we wanted this in there, I would just do save image as. Again, I give it a name, save it to the desktop here. Click save, and now the file's there on your desktop. And then what you'll have to do is make sure you can see the window. You can just go ahead and drag this file over, and you see the little icon spinning. It's uploading. Okay, and there it is. So now you have that image saved to it. And again, this makes it real easy to track buyers, sellers, and things you've done with the plants. If you've sold them on eBay, if you've purchased from eBay, if you want to create custom columns, you know, the way I set it up here was I have what's called acquisition type, so I can say, you know, how I acquired it through buying, replacement, trades, divisions. I also have a field at the very end which details, okay, what's the current status. So by the way, what I did was I put, if you select expired, you can see here it turns color coded as like a red, and that's just for my reference. I no longer have the orchid. Any other options, it should go away. I have to double check the formula, but in any case, you can see how it works. It's pretty self-explanatory. And if I was to go over here, I could also fill out some other information: who I sold it to, what's the current status, yada yada yada. So it's a great piece of software. I definitely recommend it. You know, if you're curious, take a look at this a little further. The free version allows you up to, I believe it is 1,200 rows per table, and I don't think there's a limitation on table. There's only a limitation on the total data that you can have for this cloud space, which is 2 gig. And honestly, for data, that's a pretty decent size. I mean, I think it would take you a while to fill that up. No worries for the average person, maybe if you have a business. But yeah, I definitely recommend it. So check it out. Let me know what you think. Hopefully this little tutorial helps you, and I welcome your any feedback, comments, likes, dislikes. Go ahead, let me know, and we'll take it from there. Alright, have a great night, everyone. Bye.